Resolution expressing sympathy on the death of Representative Betty Boukus. Whereas on Friday, December 2nd, 2016, the state of Connecticut lost an admired and dedicated state representative with the passing of Representative Elizabeth A. Betty Castiola Boukus at the age of 73. And whereas she represented the 22nd House District with distinction for nearly 22 years until the date of her passing, and whereas she was born on April 16, 1943 in New Britain, Connecticut, daughter of the late Salvatore and Helen McCooey Castiola, and whereas she attended Plainville High School, Mount St. Mary College, Central Connecticut State University, and the University of Hartford. And whereas she was a teacher at the Wheeler and Toffelin Elementary Schools until she left teaching to raise her children, and whereas she also had a career in real estate and insurance, and whereas she was a member of the Plainville Town Council from 1989 to 1994, and was chairperson of the council from 1993 to 1994. And whereas she was first elected to serve in the 1995 to 1996 term, representing the city of Bristol and the town of Plainville, where she lived, and later representing the city of New Britain and the town of Plainville. And whereas she served for 11 terms as a state representative and served as co-chairperson of the Bonding Subcommittee, member and vice chairperson of the Select Committee on Aging and the Public Safety and Security Committee, member of the Appropriations, Banks, Commerce, Executive and Legislative Nominations, Finance, Revenue and Bonding, General Law, Judiciary, Transportation and Internship Committees, and member of the Select Committee on Children, Veterans Affairs, and Workforce Development. And whereas she also served as Assistant Majority Leader, Deputy Majority Whip, and Deputy Majority Caucus Chair in the Connecticut House of Representatives, and whereas she served as chairperson of the Prudence Crandall Statue Committee and worked to commission a statue in the state capitol to honor Prudence Crandall, the state heroine, at the request of students from the fourth grade class of 2000 at Ellen P. Hubbard School in Bristol. And whereas she attended and spoke at meetings of the State Bond Commission as an invited co-chairperson of the Bonding Subcommittee, and whereas she worked tirelessly every December as an organizer of Secret Santa program that collected gifts and supplies for residents of the Veterans Home and Hospital in Rocky Hill, and whereas she is survived by her beloved husband of 50 years, Gary Boukus Sr., and her son, Gary Boukus Jr., her daughter, Helen Santini, and husband, Jason, her 4 grandchildren, Zachary and Alexander Santini, and Logan and Madison Boukus, her brother, Stephen Castiola, and her sister, Teresa Chack. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Connecticut General Assembly expresses its sincere sympathy and heartfelt condolences on the passing of one of its honorable members, Betty Boukus, whose death is a profound loss to the House of Representatives, her family and friends, the residents of New Britain and Plainville, and the entire state of Connecticut. And be it further resolved that the clerks of the House of Representatives and the Senate cause a copy of this resolution to be sent to the family of Betty Boukus as an expression of the high esteem and affection in which she is held.
Will you remark? Senator Martin.
Good afternoon, Madam President.
Good afternoon,
I rise
sir.
for remarks on the resolution.
Please proceed, sir.
You know, my first term here, I got to know Betty, and the only thing I regret that I wasn't able to spend a little bit more time with her. You know, she was a great advocate for Bristol, and in particular the Bristol Hospital. And let's also, you know, the Connecticut Veterans Hospital too has lost a really great advocate. She was able to bring funding to Bristol, to Plainville, in Bristol in particular, the Bristol Boys Club, and it's one of a highlight of Bristol today. She also brought money towards a historic building that's now used for the handicapped families in Bristol. And she also recently brought money to the old Jennings School that was recently renovated for the Bristol preschool program. One quick story. Betty was a real estate broker or real estate agent, and I'm a broker. So I had a listing on Cedar Lake a year ago, and she wanted to take a look at it. So we went out, and Gary came with her, and we sat for about an hour on the lake and inside the house. And this house, I was getting some feedback. There was an odor coming from the living room, and I was scratching my head. Where was this odor coming from? So I'm sitting down with Gary, and he notices the same thing, and we start talking about it. He says, it's coming from over this direction. And sure enough, it was the gas insert that was in the fireplace, and we were able to solve the problem very, very quickly after that. But we thought there was a dead animal inside the wall at one point. So it's just a short story of my, getting to know Betty and Gary a little bit. But, she represented Bristol and New Britain very, very well, and Plainville, where she came from. And I know without a doubt that the Bristol community and Plainville community are going to miss her tremendously. So thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Will you remark?